Morning Singapore and welcome to the biggest and best breakfast show in the world. It's The Big Show with Glenn, Angel, Levdy and Shaun. And our guest for this morning is award-winning psychologist, Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Good morning, Jerry.
You're muted.
Okay, try again.
Wow, okay.
There you go. This is 2 weeks in a row already. You forgot.
Let's try this again. Good morning, Dr. Jerry.
Good morning, everyone.
New look, Jerry.
Yes. A new look to start the day. I must tell this story. So we are talking about commitment phobia today, but one person that doesn't have commitment issues is my dad.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you go like, why, right? So he's a very frugal person, and he would, save, and he would but remind us the value of saving, of being prudent with certain things. Mm-hmm. So this pair of glasses was actually given to him by a friend who said, "Aya, very sayang, throw away, it's it's Hugo Boss, it's very expensive, but it's in very good condition." So my dad, being my dad, said, "Okay lah, a bit sayang to throw away." So he held on to it. So he went, "Would you like it?" It's the pass it on thing, right? And I was like, okay, I don't really need a pair of glasses, but let me try it on. So when I tried it on, my dad went, "Oh, you look very dignified. You should wear it. You should wear it." So I guess I'm out of a certain age that wearing glasses looks dignified on me.
You look like a Japanese politician.
You do, actually. It suits you.
Very Japanese. They do suit you though, Jerry.
Anyway, there are no lenses, so you can see there are no lenses.
Very hipster.
No lenses.
I thought they were just non-reflective lenses. There are no lenses. Oh, wow.
Nice.
There
Now
are
I
no
approve.
lenses.
That's even cooler. Yeah.
So
I was going to say, what degree are you? Like, are they prescription? How can you just be throwing on other people's glasses?
Do you wear contacts, Dr. Jerry?
I do. Mine is the horrible eye.
Okay, Jerry, so we're talking about commitment today. So commitment in what sense?
I don't know. So the one day
Because she said her father is frugal, so I'm like, he must have a major problem when it comes to commitment.
Yes.
Because when you're frugal, how can you commit to everything? You know what I mean?
No, he's committed to his cause. You see, he's committed to saving. He's committed to his belief. So in that sense, he's committed. No, that one was really because I promised my dad I would wear it for the show.
Okay.
I committed to it and I kept my promise.
Okay, for those of you who are going to watch us on the Big Show TV, you can see this very nice frame that Jerry has.
Frame. We can't call them glasses, can
Exactly.
we? Yeah, it's a frame. Yeah. Hugo Boss frame, no less.
Okay, let's continue this conversation on the Big Show TV. The time is 8:03.
1FM time check by Paris Silk.
Comments on our Facebook page, Jerry, you're affecting our listeners.
What do you
Trevor
mean?
Nerva says, "The spectacles make you, Jerry."
Oh.
I'm sure he didn't say it like that.
Are you sure he said it like that? I don't think
know,
that was
Trevor.
the voice.
Yeah, he said it like that.
No, he said that spectacles. What did he say?
The spectacles make you.
Okay.
Oh,
They don't.
Aw.
You make the spectacles. All right. So today we're talking about commitment phobia. So
yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I spoke about phobias, right? And then last week, my intern bounced in and said, Jerry, can you, speak about commitment phobia? So then I was like, oh, of course I can. And then I went home to think about it, and I was like, this girl, is she, talking about relationship, or she's worried about committing to the job, I didn't know which one was it.
Or committing to buying something, committing to owning a car, for example.
committing to
Right.
keeping
Yeah.
a promise as well.
Committing to...
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many commitments,
There's so
right?
many different commitments.
I think we should narrow it down first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what kind of commitments? So,
Yeah, so a lot of people, when we talk about commitment phobia, they tend to veer into commitment for a long-term relationship. So
Yeah.
yeah, so there's gamophobia. Gamophobia is the phobia, an intense fear of long-term relationship and marriage.
Okay, so we are all three here on this side. We're all committed in long-term relationships right now. It's a commitment that we've made. Sean, are
Also
you
committed.
Are you gamophobia? Are you gamophobic?
Not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
Yeah. But I do know a lot of people who are dating around using dating apps and such,
Yeah.
who I feel have commitment phobia. They don't want to settle down. They don't want to, and it's because they are afraid of settling down.
What is so scary of settling down, Jerry? Is it the idea that it's final?
Like one person only for the rest of your life.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, fear of commitment. So that's different from a phobia, yeah? Fear of commitment is that worry about all these uncertainty, what's going to happen, what if this and what if that. That fear may be quite normal. So most people go through that thought process. Is our alarm bells just working? It doesn't grip us. So we need to consider all the different options, all the different outcomes. That's fine, right? So you have that little bit of fear. But for those that have a phobia, so your commitment phobia is that intense fear. It's not only intense, it's irrational. So we talked about phobia before. So it's like an anxiety, an anxiety disorder.
So that's the difference, you see. Many people, they think, okay, I want to be carefree. And so if I'm with someone, I might not be happy, and so they choose not to be in a relationship to commit.
I don't even know if the thought process is I might not. I think the thought process may more be I will not.
Or
I will
if I
not
meet
be
another
happy.
person, what's going to happen? Do I get rid of one and go to the other, or do I? There's so many.
And that's perfectly okay, right? I mean, it's not a phobia yet. As Jerry mentioned, it's only a problem when suddenly you get anxiety attacks and all that, just at the thought of
it
commitment.
happening. So what kind of situations would we see commitment phobia?
So we are speaking now on long-term relationship, but we were talking about like work commitment. So sometimes it's as bad as there's a longer-term project. Okay, so sometimes there's a time stamp on it. In projects that might last for a year, 2 years, and this person cannot get round. There's so much anxiety about just sticking with the project for that prolonged period of time. He sabotages himself and say, I don't want to take on the project, but I really can't. So he doesn't take on that project. Yeah. Or in school. No, go ahead.
Jerry, what causes that phobia? Is it a fear of failure? What is it?
It can be various different causes. So sometimes it could be a very bad experience before. Or it could be a traumatic experience before that might cause you to not commit to a job. It could be personality, perhaps. It could be certain personality types, certain personality disorders that make it difficult for you to commit also.
So when it comes to relationships, phobia of a commitment could be a really bad breakup before?
It could be caused by a breakup before. It could be caused by attachment issues. So it can stem all the way back from childhood also, neglect for parents. It can be parents that have not been there, not been very committed to the relationship or the couplehood.
When you say not committed to the couplehood, that means if I see problems with my parents in their relationship, I may end up with a phobia.
possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah. So trauma also causes it. So trauma, different sort of negative events. It doesn't have to just be in the family, but yes, this is a contributing factor. If I see my parents at loggerheads, they're fighting. It's very ugly all the time. I have to go around with one parent or the other trying to hunt for the cheating partner. I would not want to commit it to a relationship, right?
Is this something that one can get over, commitment phobia?
It takes, so phobia is an anxiety disorder. So by nature, it is treatable, it is manageable. So going into therapy is something that, most people, if they identify it as a phobia, would permit themselves to get it treated. Couples counseling is also very useful. But because of how it's being presented, sometimes it goes unnoticed or misunderstood rather.
Or
Okay,
misdiagnosed
hold on, Jerry.
as well?
We'll go back on air. Stand by.
Okay.
Good morning, Singapore. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. We're talking about the fear of commitment. And I think we started to talk about the fear of committing to a relationship during the break. And so let's stick to that.
So what makes one, are phobias, are commitment phobias born with, or are they created? Are they manifested? Where does a phobia come from for commitment? You're
Jerry!
muted again, Dr. Jerry. Oh my goodness.
It's my phone. It's my phone. It's my microphone now.
Okay.
I wanted to ensure, the traffic news was clear.
Oh,
So
okay.
sweet.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I agree, created. It's, the research shows that it is mostly created. So you have the attachment issues, the trauma issues, the family modeling, even the self-esteem, the feeling of worthlessness, and unable to trust the self. So we think is the person unable to trust the partner, but actually most of the time they cannot trust themselves. But there's also a huge number of them who have personality disorders. So those are more innate. So those are born with. So those with borderline personalities disorders, schizotypal personality disorders, schizoid personality disorders. So those have an issue with commitment.
Can someone get over a phobia of commitment?
So if there is the other parts of it, the trauma that we can work through, the attachment issues, those can be worked through if they choose to do so.
Okay.
Yeah, like I always say, no pain, no gain. You know what I mean? In every relationship, for example, when you get into a relationship, you know that there will be good times and bad times. So I feel if there's someone or a couple, who are going through like major counseling and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not talking about a family with like kids or whatever. Or if it's just a couple, fighting to stay together.
Because of commitment phobia?
Because of commitment phobia, I think that's an issue, right? I mean, I why would people want to go through all that?
True.
Right? I mean, it's either you want to be together or you don't want to be together. Just like sometimes, right, if you're with the right person, everything will be nice and,
But even
it'll
with
make sense.
But even with the right person, there are always problems as well,
Yeah.
right?
Ups
and
and
maybe
downs,
then maybe that person's not the right person.
No,
then.
but it can't be
How do you
roses.
know?
It can't be
Yeah.
rosy all
All the
day.
time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but what I mean here is that if someone has a phobia and is having a major problem, I don't see why that person should go, let's say, for therapy, to majorly correct that.
You don't see why they should?
I don't see why you should. You're just not made for
No.
being. It's better for you to be alone. If not, you know what? If not, you're gonna make that other person you're gonna end up with. You're gonna make that person's life a living nightmare.
What would you have
But
to
if
say?
you go for therapy, surely that would help. What have you got
what
to say
do you
to
say
this,
about
Jerry?
that?
I would
Dr.
rather
Jerry?
think of it as some people should just stay single.
Are people with commitment phobias, especially with relationship, doomed to be single for the rest of their lives? Let's talk about this on the Big Show TV.
I think they should.
Jerry, that can't be possible, right? Glenn can't be right. Well, he rarely is, but I mean, just this once, say he's not.
The good point, though.
It is, yeah.
He likes to stir the emotions a little bit in
It's
all
called
our.
stirring shit.
But okay, somebody that has phobia has an irrational fear. Now, are we going to fault them for that? No, I don't think so, because actually, a large number of them do want to have a long-term relationship. It's the phobia and the emotions that prevent them from having the relationship. So you hear things like attachment issues, right? Fearful avoidant. They say, I want a committed relationship, but I'm afraid to get hurt. So you hear narratives like that. Or those that are anxious and preoccupied attachment issues. I want to be close to you, but I think you don't want to be close to me. So it's the other way around.
So, what's the difference between someone who has commitment phobia, someone who has a real issue, and a player? Someone who says they have commitment issues. Do you know what I mean?
I know
Someone
what you
who
mean.
uses that
the
excuse,
excuse.
and says, you know what, I just have commitment phobia. I
But
can't
it's
be
not,
with one
But
person all the time.
that's another issue altogether. That
No, but-
person is probably a sex addict.
How do you know as a person in the relationship with this other person, for example, that the person, how can you tell whether it's a commitment phobia or if the person is just playing around and just using that as an excuse? Because people have thrown the phrase around a lot. Oh, I have commitment issues.
It's
Yep.
become
You know?
it's become the get out of jail.
Yeah.
card.
No one
Kinda-
gets into
kinda.
a relationship to go for a movie, to have dinner every day. It's about the sex. That is the truth of the matter. Once that
the
fades,
sex
the relationship
does
is over.
help. Yeah, the sex
Okay,
does
I'm
help,
on
yeah.
to the next relationship.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
that's
very
what I mean.
important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Phobia, right? Phobia, we are looking at what are some of the signs and symptoms, right? High anxiety, sweaty palms, I get sick, I feel sick. So when somebody has a phobia, you see these signs and symptoms to a greater or lesser extent. You talk to the person about the futures. For someone that has a phobia, right? He wants to have a long-term relationship, but he starts to get sweaty palms. He starts to stutter. He starts to feel like a little bit sick. Yeah, and you're looking at him and going, okay, what's going on here? But he's genuinely feeling very uncomfortable. A player is a player. I don't really want you. I just want to go on to the next person.
I'm just thinking of all the players listening in right now and going, I got sweaty palms. I'm feeling very anxious sitting here right now. I don't think I can commit
They're
to
writing
this.
down their notes.
Exactly.
Okay,
You
this
see,
is
the
what I
bad
must
thing,
say.
and the bad thing is
Exactly.
the players who have been convinced by their friends and family and all that to settle down, right,
Yeah.
are still playing,
Yep.
although they're with someone.
And they're still saying, I have commitment issues.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
They need
They're
therapy.
They're still saying. So do they need therapy, Dr. Jerry? Can they get over something like that? The players?
The players or those with phobia?
I think there's nothing wrong with being a player, and it's different from having a phobia. A phobia is a deep-rooted fear that leads to physical symptoms.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
The fear it's almost panic.
Exactly. It is panic actually. So they can't even utter the word like girlfriend or boyfriend or even partner. It just doesn't come out of their mouth. I mean, I agree with FD. A player is a player. If they want to play, just be upfront about it. So it takes two to clap, right? If the other person is accepting of it, so be it.
Yeah.
So if, for example, I'm in a relationship with someone who has commitment phobia, But you
Yes.
said phobia, the person actually wants to be there but just can't because they're afraid of it, right? How
Yes.
do I,
Yes.
as a girlfriend or partner, help that person? Is
The-
there any
Yeah, talk about it. It's openness that helps. There's the uncertainty that creates a lot of anxiety. So the more you talk about it, the more it creates certainty around certain topics. If there is trauma that has occurred in the past, and there's something that they can speak about so that the triggers don't recur, or they can avoid some of the triggers, great. If the traumas are too deep-seated, then they probably need therapy. Couple counseling is also really good.
You see the problems that you're going to face in future?
Who,
I say
me?
just run.
I'm,
Run away.
I'm,
If you come
I'm,
across someone like that, run.
No, but I'm saying,
You know,
maybe you've fallen in love with this person,
You
and that
feel,
person,
you
no,
feel like
this
you're
is-
in
no,
love
no, no,
now.
but this
Love is not
In a
real.
few years, when you start to have gray hair and all that, because
let's stop referring to me as if this is actually happening to me, because it's not. but because it's a real disorder. This
Yeah.
person with commitment phobia is in love with you, and they want to be there.
But the person is a disorder. You run away
They're not
straight away.
They're not a player. You know what I mean? They're
If
not-
disorder means you can get help, what?
Yeah, exactly. So how does that
Who wants to
partner
get help? Wait.
The guy with the disorder.
with the disorder, and the person who's fallen in love with
Yeah, but
him
come on,
wants to
common
help
sense
him
will tell you that,
run.
after a while, the person will need counseling again. The person
So
will need help again.
This
All
is
of
coming
us
from
do.
someone who
Yeah.
has commitment issues.
No,
That's
I
why
don't
he
have
runs.
commitment
That's why
issues.
you said run.
I am completely.
Life has enough problems as it is.
That is true.
Run,
Okay.
Forrest, run.
I am completely confused. If someone has a commitment phobia,
Phobia, okay,
Yeah,
phobia.
phobia,
yeah.
they are not going to fall in love with someone. They
Dr. Jerry?
can't.
Exactly.
Can
They
they?
can't.
They can.
They can.
They
Of
can,
course
so
they
it's a
can.
myth.
They want to be there, but
No, I
they
think-
can't see the
human.
long
Yeah,
run.
no,
They can't.
I
Yes.
agree with FD. I feel like they actually can't, but they want to. So they think they can.
Yeah.
And then maybe they can for a little while, and then after that, it's
Let's-
back to they can't.
Let's find out
again.
from the expert, Dr. Jerry.
They're
They
problematic.
can. So
It's
all
That's
of
because he's
us-
saying those with phobias are final.
I mean, all of us are made to love, right? Yeah. So having a phobia doesn't mean it robs you of that ability
Privilege.
to love. Yeah. So you might want to. You might. No. You will
Get a
fall
dog.
in love.
Get a dog.
Get a dog. Then you also
Did
got
you say get a
commitment,
dog
Get a
or
dog.
a job?
commitment
I'll get
phobia.
a dog.
Dog.
That.
Love the
No, they'll
dog.
give the dog away.
Yeah.
So go on, Jerry. So a person
Yeah.
with commitment phobia can fall in love.
They
But they're
can
afraid
fall
of
in
the
love.
big picture.
They want to have a relationship for many of them, but they are unable to, and that's the part that either the partner can help them, or some work with them, some therapy work with them can help them.
You won't have time to do other things for yourself. You're helping this person all the time. Like, how do you go and play golf? Let's say. Okay,
wait.
okay, traffic. Hold on.
Stand by.
Good morning, Singapore. Welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning and every Tuesday morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room.
Yeah, and if you're wondering what FD was talking about, we were just talking on the Big Show TV about how Glenn has commitment issues.
Yes.
And if he faces anyone with commitment phobia, he just runs for the hills.
Correct.
So, Dr. Jerry, we're talking about, can someone with commitment phobia actually fall in love?
So I mentioned, right, they can. We're all built to love, and we can love, and they are entitled to love. So they will want to get into a relationship, but they just find it difficult to stay for the long run. So if we recall 2 weeks ago, we were talking about all the different phobias. Let me bring out one of the phobias. So selective mutism. So selective mutism, they can talk. but in certain situations they can't talk. So are we going to say we're not going to let them talk and they don't need to be, don't need to go for therapy and just leave them fearful or in that fearful state in certain environments? No, we put them through therapy. Same thing with commitment phobia, just that it's a little bit more dynamic because it appears the person is capable or has the ability to love, and then it's not written on their foreheads that they have commitment or a disorder, right? And then we just blame them for having a disorder. Now that's not very fair for them.
So they're not walking around with a bright neon sign that says commitment phobia.
No, Jerry, I want
You guys brought up the whole phobia.
I want to ask you something. Someone with commitment phobia, maybe this is not a psychology problem.
Well, how about someone with just a problem committing? Because you mentioned phobia, it becomes a medical thing already.
Well, but that's what we're talking about today. Commitment phobia.
Someone with commitment phobia, can meeting the right person pull them out of that phobia?
Temporarily.
No, I mean permanently.
For the long run,
I mean permanently.
In your dreams.
Yes.
Dr. Jerry?
I thank you for saying that, FD, because it's absolutely lovely to see someone with commitment phobia come with their partner and say, we want to make this work. How can we make this work? I'm not going to cheat on my partner, but this person has been hurt once too many times. So how can we do it together and to see them work through things? Yes.
Wait, you said a partner with commitment phobia and the partner walking in and saying they want to make it work and saying they don't want to cheat. So is that a big thing that happens with people with commitment phobia, that they cheat on their partners?
No, so they could have. So it could be that they have experienced before. So that's the trauma part. The other type of trauma could be childhood. They have seen the parents, and the father is a serial cheater, and the mom has gone through it, and so there could be couples coming in saying that I've seen this scenario, I am worried, and I don't know how to get rid of that worry. I know my partner is not cheating, but I just can't I don't know how to deal with my anxiety.
Glenn is just bursting to say something, but he's holding himself back. You can just tell from his face.
It's kind of straightforward, right? If someone has commitment phobia, there's a very high chance that this person is not cut out to be in a long-term relationship. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But too many people take chances and then they make their lives unhappy.
No, but
we all want to be happy. And for the people who choose not to be in a relationship, you've got to respect them because
for sure.
They know they don't want, based on what they see, maybe their friends or whatever, they don't want to be in a relationship.
That's okay.
That's cool.
But you've lost the point of this because right at the beginning we said these people want to be in a relationship
with this particular person.
But they can't.
Exactly.
They physically cannot.
They can't. So
because
don't.
Of an issue.
That's
what
I mean.
They want to. And don't they have the right
Yes.
to be treated and to overcome this so that they can find that lasting love
and get the help as well?
They are going to make some poor innocent's life a living nightmare. That's what I'm saying.
No,
you
but
know
the two people want to be there. That's what we're saying. It's just that one of them has an issue, a medical issue.
Okay.
Yes. So he's never going to agree with us. It's okay. All right, let's play some music.
I think you should ask yourself this question: are you going to make someone happy? If you are not, then don't even.
Let's play some.
Don't be selfish.
Let's play music and
all right.
continue.
Here's Modern Talking, Brother Louis. Time is so precious, right? And most of the time, couples are trying to rectify or trying to solve problems in their relationship. And
correct, but
it's a waste of time.
But you got to think of this. Think of the perspective of the person with commitment phobia. It must be so difficult to find somebody that they can and want to fall in love with.
So don't then just be a single.
You can't not want to fall in love with someone. If you fall in love, you fall in love. Love is something that you can't help. It happens. It happens. Love is not trauma. Love is not like, okay, I'm going to choose you to love. I'm going to choose you not to love.
So the person who's trying to help the person with commitment phobia,
Who is the partner?
right? Who's trying to be the saint is going to be very disappointed.
No, the person
at some
is not
point.
trying to be the same because the person we're assuming this the hypothetical
Good, Jerry.
the hypothetical partnership. Both of them want to be in this relationship and they want to make it work because they're both in love with each other.
I've watched enough Taiwanese, love stories to know that it'll never work.
I just can't get over Jerry. I can't get over someone who thinks that someone who
God.
has a medical condition does not deserve to be treated.
You're talking about Glenn Ong? That is
Don't
talking
say
like that,
medical
yeah.
condition. You must be very specific.
Phobia.
dear.
Phobia
It's
of
psychological.
relationships. This is to me a very I can say what I want because it's about relationships. If it's a serious medical issue or whatever, then I
you've
won't.
been
I
in
won't
enough,
say
you're
anything.
an
This is
expert.
nothing. It's a relationship.
My
What do you
God.
mean
It
it's
works. It
nothing?
works. Doesn't work. Okay.
Phobia.
Oh wow!
Look, if
Okay.
someone doesn't appreciate you for who you are, let's say, I say run.
No, but it's not
Okay.
about appreciate you.
It's not about appreciation.
exactly.
It is because
No,
if a
it's
person who
not.
has a problem committing, doesn't appreciate a person who's trying to help the person
No,
out.
but the person
No,
who
no,
has
no,
a
no.
problem committing is not a player.
Wait.
The person who has a
I'm not
is
even
a
saying
commitment
player.
phobia.
No,
is
wait.
different.
You got to understand. Glenn's language is why he's getting it wrong.
Yes, correct. You're
This
using the wrong.
person
Speak English.
doesn't have a problem committing. This person can't commit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's physically impossible.
so-
Physically impossible.
so why even bothering?
No. So this person doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. So his choice or her
No,
choice
there is no choice.
just to remain single.
No, there is no choice here. Oh my God!
Okay,
it's so
Jerry, help
frustrating
us
this
out.
morning.
Jerry, help us out.
I think
I
I would
don't agree with him.
No, I don't agree with you,
Laugh.
but I know what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
No, I know what he's trying to say, but what you're trying to say is completely off the mark with what is actually happening here.
You know what? You guys are just talking with no experience whatsoever, right? I mean, you guys have never been with someone who has a commitment phobia, and
No.
you're talking as if
Have you been with
you
someone
people-
who has a commitment phobia?
What do you
Phobia.
think?
Phobia.
Right.
What do you think?
No,
I think he
I
might
don't.
have.
What do you think?
I think he might have.
Phobia?
I mean,
I think he might have.
Glenn has been very, very
and
hard.
it'll never
Glenn has been
turn
hurt.
out right.
But Glenn being hurt, does that mean
No.
that he's been hurt by someone with commitment
No,
phobia?
I've
No.
not been hurt. It's
Oh,
just
there
that
you
I
go.
know that it'll never work.
I don't know. I disagree.
Yeah, you disagree
I
Sounds like
Because-
hurt talking.
Sorry?
Yeah.
You what?
It sounds like hurt talking.
No,
Who,
I-
me?
No.
Him.
Jerry, help us out here.
It's disappointment.
Yeah.
That's it.
Jerry, help us out
Because
here.
you think you can, but
So you think Glenn is talking? You think Glenn is talking from experience based on your expert opinion?
Whether
but
he
isn't
is
that-
or not,
isn't
what
that
a
great if I am
No,
talking
no.
from
If you are,
experience?
yes, absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
Right, but you see, relationships, as in for the longest time, right? When you talk about relationships, everyone thinks about that perfect relationship.
yes.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Ideally, yes.
But there is no such thing.
No.
It's hard enough when two people who are in love get together
Yeah.
and think that they are going to live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And after 40 years of marriage, let's say, or 50 years of marriage,
Decide to split.
things still go haywire.
Yeah.
And now you're
Yeah.
talking about people who have commitment phobia, who find it so hard to commit. And you guys, in your fairy tale mindset, is thinking that it's going to last. You know what I mean? You can try, but this person with this commitment phobia, after 10 years, 20 years, is going to
No
or maybe
faith in
after a few
humanity.
years, will
Right.
cause problems
Him, right?
once
Yeah.
again.
No faith
Jerry?
in humanity. Yeah.
Okay, wait, hang on, Jerry.
I would say that I would actually bet on the one that has commitment phobia and goes and puts in effort, invest time, invest energy, and invest the heart and soul into getting over the phobia, because we're talking about phobia. We're not just talking about, oh, I'm very flippant with the relationship. This is
Yeah.
someone that is actually wanting something, desiring something, and is unable to obtain it unless he or she is in some sort of treatment or therapy. So once they manage that, will they still have anxiety or worries? Okay, they will. But they will be far more loyal a companion and partner than any other person.
Once they get over it.
If it works out.
Once they get, yes. But I also hear another part of what Glenn is saying, where there's this perception that someone with commitment phobia does not appreciate the partner. Now, that is a myth, and I wanted to highlight that it is not true at all. Most time, it is not about the partner. So that's the difference, So the player, it's very self-centered, very, it's I cannot commit to you, but this commitment phobia or gamophobia, they have an issue with themselves, not with the other person. They cannot trust themselves.
Correct.
They have no self-esteem.
Correct.
They feel worthless.
Absolutely. And as a result, right, they become extremely possessive as well.
Is that true?
And when they become extremely possessive, then you become a prisoner as well, because you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that.
Okay, then I've been
You
in
stay
one of
home.
those. Oh, I've been in one of those.
This is what
relationships.
happens. Right,
I've
because
been
that fear,
Is that true?
fear that you are committed to me, but if I let you free, you are going to
Wow.
You are going to be with someone
That
That
else.
sounds like a
right.
And
relationship
then
I've been in.
you're
Oh.
extremely possessive, and your life will then be a living
Is
hell.
that, is
and
that
you
true?
try to help.
Is that a commitment? Is that coming from someone who has commitment phobia, Dr. Jerry?
Okay, we address this on
Yeah,
air.
okay.
That's a good
Remember.
question for.
Show right now with
That's the perfect
Glenn,
song.
Angel, Abby, and Shaun. Our guest is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room.
And we're talking about commitment phobia, and I think Jason Mraz had it all wrong.
No, but Glenn, you brought up something about
Yeah.
the relationship and about being a prisoner. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, people with commitment phobia and who have partners who may want to help them out usually end up on the losing end, because the person
partners, right?
with the commitment phobia are usually very possessive get very possessive after a while. And because they're afraid of losing you, so to speak, you have to get home on time.
You have to
can't-
dress a certain
You
way.
can't talk to other women out there. They might even be jealous of some colleague at work, and
So you gotta
everything
quit your
just
job and-
everything just gets very complex.
Is that
a form?
Is that one of the signs?
It sounds like it, but it's not. So commitment phobia, imagine 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out of the door, getting to run at any point in time. So if I have commitment phobia, I'm not going to hold on to you, right? It may sometimes manifest like that, but not all the time. So they are more dismissive for most of them. They would be, hot and cold. So sometimes they are there with you, and after a while you think that you're okay, and then they suddenly just bail on you, like they ghost you for a little while. They won't want to label you, whether you're a partner, a girlfriend, or boyfriend. So how can they possess you if they are 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out of the door? So although it looks like that for some of the situations, it's not for majority of the situations.
So the person that you just described is someone with very low self-esteem.
Exactly.
Extremely
not
low,
someone
but
with a
not
commitment phobia.
But you see,
Yeah.
the thing is, the person with commitment phobia may feel like he or she, owes their partner that love and affection, because that partner's trying to make them feel secure in the relationship and all that, and so they might try to hold on.
Dr. Jerry?
So which is why
Glenn is playing therapist today.
Which is why I'm saying, right, in relationships, right, most people feel like every relationship should be perfect, but it's not. And I just feel like, having dated for so many years and all that, looking back, you kind of see the signs. whether or
Yeah.
not it's going to work out. Right?
The red flags, yeah.
And if there are too many red flags, right, then don't waste time.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I totally agree with
Yeah,
that.
but you see, some people will disagree. They want to work on it and work on it and work
Because some
on it.
people are
right?
fixers.
And-
Some people
yeah.
like to fix people as well.
And I just feel like, time is so precious.
No, that's true. Yeah.
And I've seen so many of these couples, right? Even old couples.
They're so unhappy.
separating after
Yeah.
years of marriage. And to me, that is, I mean.
But I think for things like that, people grow, and sometimes people grow in different directions.
Yeah, I
you know,
think
they
that's
may have
different.
been in love or with the same sort of goals in life for those 40 years, but
Yeah.
after that, they both start to feel okay. I think we've done it enough as a couple, and they decide to split. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
In every relationship, you take your chances.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely,
mean? You
yeah.
never know.
It's a risk.
Right? But which is
So
why
there
I'm
are
saying.
three different kinds. There are three different kinds of commitment also. I mean, phobia aside, right? What keeps us in the relationship would be three different types of commitment. One would be structural. That means, society expects us to stay in a relationship. So just like, grandfather's generation, it's taboo to get a divorce. So they stay in the relationship. It could be moral commitment. Moral commitment are like your belief system. It could be that religious values that keep you in the relationship. And then the last one is the personal commitment. I want to stay in this relationship. I choose to stay in this relationship. So these three help us to stay in that committed relationship. But it's not foolproof. I know Glenn's going to come back. It's not foolproof.
So if you got arachnophobia, will you go and play with spiders? Or not? You know what I mean? Will you force yourself to
feel
go
like
play with
Speaking from
spiders?
experience, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I still stand by, if you have commitment phobia, then I think it's best you
Go work on it
you
yourself.
stay on your own. Just watch Netflix at home by yourself.
Or get some help first before you start getting other people into your lives. Is that possible? Work on yourself first with a therapist and see if you can get over the phobia. And then find yourself a partner. But I disagree with a lot of things.
If you desperately want to be in a relationship, but if you've got commitment phobia,
A lot of people
chances
do.
are just be on your own.
If you miss human contact.
Any final words, Dr. Jerry?
I'm going to say a phobia is a phobia. Phobia needs a diagnosis. After a diagnosis, work on it. But I agree with Glenn also. Sometimes, after a while, if the partner is unable to manage it, please move on.
Yeah.
So that part I agree. But get the diagnosis and work on it. So that would be what I would want to say. And if we think about it, okay, and this is what Abraham Lincoln says, commitment is what transforms a promise into a reality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry.
No worries. So on that note, I keep my promise every week and I stay committed to Therapy Tuesdays.
Oh,
Yay!
that's cool.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
We're okay. We didn't disagree too much today.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
We can
cool.
we can do it all over
Yeah.
again
I
next
love
week.
you. I still love you.
Yes, I love you too.
Thanks, Dr.
Okay.
Jerry.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.